Welcome back to the channel. I've got a warning out on ETH today. What does this mean? What can we look for? How can we avoid the traps? And where can we make money from it? Before I start, ETH is one of my favorite married cryptocurrencies to myself in my portfolios. It's in my long-term portfolio. It's in my retirement fund portfolio. So I do believe in the project long term, but in the short term, I'm always wary of what I'm reading in the media and also social media, when I tend to see a lot of Ethereum posts or any particular cryptocurrency just getting pumped over and over and over again. So let's take a look at that in the charts and what's going on in the news and a little of the on-chain analysis. You know, I hate to ask because I also hate hearing about it, but I know how important it is to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel with the bell notification icon turned on so you can be updated with more of the content like this. As always, links are in the top of the description for Patreon. You can learn more about trading and investing full time. And of course, Bybit, the $4,000 Ethereum giveaway is still going on. There's another 9 days to enter. Check out the link in the top of the description. 4 lucky people will win $1,000 of ETH each. It's a link to Bybit. All right, let's dive in. As always, my daily analysis around charts, news, and the sentiment of the market begins with the quick check of the fear and greed index, currently sitting at 26. So the market has cooled off just a little bit, back down into the fearful zone. Of course, Bitcoin has also cooled off. So it's moving relatively similar to what's going on in the Bitcoin price at the moment. Taking a look at the cryptocurrencies prices by market cap, comparing it to Bitcoin. Now I've got the top 100 here. Let's flip it back around. So we're looking at Bitcoin as the top. I'm looking for the 24 hours and the 7 days. What is moving against Bitcoin? I'm going to do it a little different today. 7 days, I'm going to sort by the highest movers against Bitcoin. Now there's a bit of news on each of these and they're slowly coming back down to earth. Some are stronger than others. And Luna is one of those that I still see as stronger than a lot of other cryptocurrencies at the moment. It was one of my March altcoin picks. It remains pretty strong. Thorchain is another favorite that I'm going to do more research on because I want to hold this thing long term as well. So I'm waiting for the hype just to cool off. But if I take a scroll down, you can see a lot of the altcoins are green against Bitcoin, which means they're moving against their Bitcoin value, which I think is to be expected at this time, especially after most of them have been crushed so heavily. So there has to be some sort of relief eventually. As for Bitcoin, the pre-party for me begins above $42,600. So you can see we've got the change of behavior bar on the 4th of March. We have the low, or the peak on the 9th of March. Another low came in, which was a higher low. And then we've tried to test this peak again. Each of the times we're just getting that little bit shorter, except for the 9th, which was a few bucks over. But this last peak again was just a little bit under. The good news is we're holding above 50% and above the psychological level of 40 grand. So I'm still waiting for Bitcoin to show its hand and just get above that 42,600 for the consolidation and then hit that 46K. I think we'll see a lot more partying if we can get above 46 and move between 46 and about 52K. Overall, the market's doing pretty well since the low is in on the 24th of February. That was the day that Russia invaded Ukraine. And since then, that was the extreme fear. The market hasn't come back to test those lows. So that's why I always pay a lot of attention to the market sentiment. This was extreme fear. I thought we had a lot lower to go, but as the market closed the day, where the professionals come in, you can see the close was high, the volume was high, the bar range was quite high, and that gave me the confidence to think that we were about to see a temporary low in the market. And so far, it's proven to be the low for about 4 weeks at this point in time. Bitcoin dominance has also fallen away overnight, getting rejected again at 50%, but this is still looking relatively healthy as a potential higher swing low. So if I'm using my 50% tool again, I'm looking for this to come in at about 41.5% to find support. So maybe we get some altcoins popping off until Bitcoin comes back to this level, and then Bitcoin hopefully steals the show again to bring in some more life into the market, and then we rinse and repeat over and over again. Now, I like to skim the news headlines, give me an idea of what the market is lapping up. FTX, Animoca back 500 million crypto gaming platform on Terra. So we're looking at more money being pumped into the market, adoption, development. That's my look for 2022, even if the prices aren't ballooning and going to the moon. It's still all part of the game and it takes time. Taiwan's largest crypto exchange eyes 400 million valuation and potential IPO. So they're following in the footsteps of Coinbase, looking to go public on the NASDAQ within the next 2 years. But Taiwan, I wonder if anyone really cares. Obviously, I think it's great because they're looking to expand into Southeast Asia. That's their plan here. And of course, Southeast Asia is growing, a lot more money in that space as well. And again, more adoption, more development, but it takes time. It's good to see that this is happening though. Now, Taiwan, about half the size of Tasmania with the population of Australia. So there is still a lot of money in that space. And I think if they can score themselves space in Southeast Asia, then of course we're going to get a lot more development and adoption in that space. The adoption can take time. That's what we're looking at. El Salvador's Bitcoin bond issuance apparently delayed. So they're saying they're nearly there, but potentially the delay came because of the international conditions like, again, the war that is carrying out in Eastern Europe at this point in time. In November 2021, President announced plans to build a Bitcoin city funded by the sales of the bonds. So this is what the bonds will be used for if people are investing in the Bitcoin bonds in El Salvador. So these will have an annual coupon of 6.5%. Half of the funds will be used to accumulate Bitcoin. So they're going to use the money to buy Bitcoin, and the rest of it's going to be earmarked for infrastructure and Bitcoin mining powered by geothermal energy. So basically to create the city. Half of it, they're going to buy Bitcoin. The other half, they're going to continue to create this Bitcoin city. So the president's office did not respond to CoinDesk's inquiry about the new estimated date as well. So we'll still be waiting on that to see when these bonds come out. Now onto Ethereum. So I pay most attention to the charts. The technical analysis generally tells me what's happening before the news does. But I also like to see where this money is flowing as well. So, after the fact, we get to see what's going on with reports like this. Flows by asset in millions of dollars. Ethereum and Bitcoin had negative flows last week. So we saw the second week of negative flows, but less than the week before. So that's a good sign. We're getting some stability in the investment in the space. And then the rest of these altcoins are having a little bit of an increase. Ripple, $1 million. Polkadot, Solana, Litecoin, all under $1 million, so relatively stable overall. Now the on-chain data here. Ethereum outflows from exchanges hit 2022 peak as ETH price surges. Now, firstly, the surge from the current low to the top is about 20%. So really just looking at this point here, 2,500 to this level of 3,000 is only about 20%. More than 500 million worth of Ethereum was withdrawn from exchanges earlier this week as traders look to hold on to their crypto in anticipation for bullish price action. But we also have some development in the Ethereum space, obviously moving towards Ethereum 2.0. So which is it? We're looking at just trading it, or are people really anticipating that this is going to happen, that we're going to transition into ETH 2.0? One of the biggest things I'm wary of is looking at what happened last time to this time, especially on-chain analysis. Technical analysis, that's what we work with. We look at the past and the history to learn from it, to make assumptions and predictions for the future. It doesn't mean it has to happen, but we're basically forecasting, looking at probabilities. Most of the time it will happen, sometimes it won't. But in terms of the on-chain analysis, last time this magnitude of ETH left the exchanges was October 2012. Remember, the peak was in November, so only a month later, preceding a 15% price increase within 10 days. Don't get me wrong, I'm not discounting on-chain analysis completely, but I put more emphasis, far more emphasis on the technical analysis rather than the on-chain analysis. I think this stuff is great for long-term to see what's going on, but in terms of short to medium, I don't think it's going to have that much effect in terms of using it for our portfolios. So in terms of trading it, not my thing, but for longer term, I definitely like to see this. So the estimates are still on track for Ethereum 2.0 coming in Q2. So we'll lay to rest the energy concerns. And this is coming from Joe Lubin, Consensus CEO and Ethereum co-founder. Still confident that the next era of Ethereum will arrive within the next few months. And so this was only said recently in the last week. The merge is happening surprisingly on that same time frame. So my estimate stays the same. We have a team working strongly, heavily on it. If you're unsure what Ethereum 2.0 is, quite simply, it's possible that it will increase the speed of transactions as well as lowering the cost. So that could potentially bring more demand to Ethereum, which is why people are getting excited for ETH 2.0. Now, taking a look at the technical analysis of Ethereum, short term, long term. Long term, I think we have more price potential here. Short term, it's good to see that it's above 50%, which at the moment is around 2,700. So that's a bit more of a medium term time frame here. I think the real party is going to start above 33 to $3,500. So still a little way away from 2,900, but there's a lot of resistance on the way up. You can see it at 3,000. You also got it again at 3,200. And then if we can get above that level between that 33 and 35 as we attempt to break 35, I think we'll get a good party above that point there. And the possibility of consolidating above 3,500 is quite positive to Ethereum as it brings us back into the price zone before we broke down in January. So that was the low, that freak low on December 4th. And we can get back into that price range between 35 and 4,800. I think that would be a good positive sign for Ethereum longer term. So we might still get some other lows, but at least that's a positive sign that we haven't broken down any further. Now to actual positive signs that have occurred, the downtrend. It has been broken. We have tested it again just in the last few weeks and we've moved away from it. We got some volume coming into the market as well. So even if we do get lower prices, the positive is that the market has stopped the downtrend at this speed, and we've slowed the speed and taken a bit of time to go sideways, so we could fall further again, but at least we've slowed the speed, and that's the first step to getting out of the bear market. Now for Ethereum versus Bitcoin, good to see some volume coming in again on these weekly bar charts. So we got some weekly bars here, good strong volume. This sort of volume we haven't seen since around the peaks of November, and then again back from the peaks of May. So the fact that we're seeing good volume at the lows is quite positive, at least to push us forward for a few more weeks to test 0.078. So I think the test is really going to come above these levels, which is above 50%, above the downtrend, which it's failed at once before. And the third is above these previous tops. So if it can consolidate above the 0.078, that's going to look quite strong against Bitcoin, which could then drop the Bitcoin dominance. So this dominance is possibly getting thrown around, is getting thrown around because of the increase in Ethereum and not necessarily all of the altcoin seasons. So it's something that is different from the last time that we had a big Bitcoin bull market back in 2017, where Ethereum started to gain a lot of Bitcoin share and the altcoin seasons were much easier to see. Now we're seeing a lot of backwards and forwards between Bitcoin and altcoins, and the churning continues. But I am seeing a lot more flowing into ETH, and of course that is highlighted in the fact that the dominance of Bitcoin continues to fall. Now in terms of timing, which is one of the most important things, we focused on how long these downtrends were on ETH versus Bitcoin, and after the downtrends, how many weeks could we expect up? And we're looking at this. We were looking around 1 to 4 or so weeks. So you can see the downtrends, and then we had about 4 bars up, which is each bar is a week. 4 weeks up, 3 weeks up. We had 9 weeks down, then another 6 weeks up. You got 3 weeks up through here after the market has fallen. Got a couple of weeks bounce back here as well. So as a rough idea, somewhere between that 1 and 4, and we can see that it's extended out as far as 6 weeks as well. So at the moment, we're currently in our 2nd week up. So we're possibly halfway through this move already, which to me is still early-ish days, but not as early as it was last week. And that's why I think that it's important to have a bit of a warning here, especially as a lot of the headlines are coming through for Ethereum now. So it's possible that the move is about halfway through if we're looking at the 1 to 4 weeks. I think we could still test the upper side of the downtrend here. So that would bring us out at about 0.073 or 0.074, and ideally I want to see a test and consolidation above 0.078 for longer term growth of ETH against Bitcoin. Remember to check out the links to the Ethereum giveaway in the top of the description. 4 lucky winners will win $1,000 of Ethereum each. Also, the link to our free newsletter is there as well. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you guys at the next video. Until then, have more fun to get more done.